We're inside the 2011 Chevrolet Volt. It is their electric car that has a gas assist motor, which is actually a generator that generates electricity for the electric motor when you run out of juice. Typically that's a full charge is going to run you last you anywhere between 35 and I've heard as high as 50 miles. I guess maybe if you live in a flat state like Florida that might be the case. However, whenever I do a full charge, the meter here, which shows gas currently, reads about 35 miles on a full charge. So I'm sure that's going to vary from state to state, location to location, and I'm sure even your driving style, of course, will dictate that as well. I'd like to point out some of the nicer features about this car. As you can see, I'll just pan around here and you can see that the car is very well appointed, loaded to the hilt with electronics. This is the start button. When you get in, you just hit the power button to start the car, and it's so quiet, even with the gas motor running, that you really can't even tell it's going. Occasionally the gas motor will rev higher as it needs to. It's automatically throttled by the computer. You have no input over that at all, frankly. So it just does what it needs to do to maintain that constant power flow. So as you can see here, this is the main screen here. There's quite a few pieces of information rather, that this screen will provide you. There's climate control. We have the vehicle information. This is kind of cool. You'll see it here. And of course, if the battery was full, this would be fully green here, and as you drive, it shows that the battery's powering the electric motor up front. However, since we're on gas, it's gonna, when I switch into drive, it'll put up a little motor icon here, and it'll show you that the gas motor is actually feeding the electricity to the electric motor. So Chevy's ambition for this car was as a daily commuter. If you're commuting 35 miles round trip or so, 35 to 45, you'll probably never have to put a drop of gas in the car. So I know that's going to appeal to certain people. And of course, the nice thing about this car, unlike the Nissan Leaf, is you're not just trapped to electricity. If you want to get in here and do a long haul like I did over this past weekend, you can certainly put the 9.5 gallons in the fuel tank and keep on going. Combined range in my experience was roughly about 380 miles between the electric charge and the gas, so decent. The EPA rates this car at 38 miles to the gallon when it's on gas, and the effective equivalent when it's on power is 98 miles to the gallon. So very well, nice appointed interior. I really like the fit and finish a lot. I like the color schemes. I like the two-tone colors. Looks really nice, the wraparound dash there. The seats are not bad. They look cool, and they got some really nice features about them in terms of their comfort and design and that kind of stuff. I like the stitching on it. The only thing that does not make sense to me about these particular seats, however, is I don't understand why Chevrolet would put an electric car together with all these fancy gadgets, including DVD, the whole 9 yards, and not have power seats in it. To me, it just seems very awkward. I'm not sure what their thinking was on that. And then one of the other things I don't really understand too is what this space back here is all about. Like, if they didn't have these pillars here on each side, it'd be a much more usable space. As it is, you kind of got to reach around now. It's kind of very awkward. When the shifter's in drive, you don't have to reach like that all the time, but it's still kind of a weird space. Like, still trying to figure that whole thing out. Our car is equipped with automatic climate control, dual heated seats, and you can actually set even the heated seats to a full auto mode, so the car will just kind of warm them up as needed. It's kind of neat. As I mentioned earlier, it will support DVD playback, however, only when the car is in park. It does support the Dolby Digital and DTS soundtracks as well on your DVDs. Kind of neat. Electronic parking brake here, door locks here and there. And the other nice thing about this stereo system is it does feature a hard drive, so you can go ahead and rip your MP3s from your USB device right onto the hard drive, or off of a CD for that matter. So the sound system's pretty good. It's using some Bose speakers. Once again, as many of you might know that have been watching my reviews for a while, Bose aren't exactly my favorite, but in this application they do sound good, just don't sound excellent, if that makes sense. Car does feature tons of airbags all around the vehicle, so that's good. No problems there. In fact, I think it's a total of, I believe it's a total of 6 airbags inside the passenger cabin. Full restraints all the way around. It is a 4-passenger vehicle. I'll go ahead and pan around here, and you can see the back I like the spacing of it. I like the fact that they did not squeeze a middle seat into that. I'm a big fan of that. 2 adults should fit back there rather comfortably. The only downside, of course, in my opinion, is the slope of the roof can be a bit cramped for some taller people. As you can see, it's a hatchback. There's a cargo covering netting back there, which I'm not really that big of a fan of. I mean, I'm glad they put it in there, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to use because you gotta set it into these notches every time you want to cover something rather. So anyway, like I said, overall I'm pleased with the finish of this car. It's very cool looking inside. I've had quite a number of people in there that are frankly blown away by how cool it is in here in terms of the gadgetry and fit and finish, that kind of stuff. So this is the main dashboard. As you can see, of course, there is no tachometer. You don't need that in an electric motor. There's a series of menus here that you can navigate through, and they give different bits of information on the vehicle, let you adjust certain different settings, mileage, trip meters, that kind of stuff. So cruise control, tilt wheel, integrated Bluetooth, all standard on this particular car. And if you're at all interested in checking out what's going on with the Volt, I would highly encourage you to get down to a dealer, test drive it. My own personal thoughts is I think their suspension feels a little bit spongy. I don't like the tires that they use. The tires seem to squeal unnecessarily too many times, even just during normal driving. Sometimes you go around a corner and they'll just squeal. I think they could have been better placed tires. So anyway, like I said, give it a try if you're at all interested in an electric car. I think you might like what you see.